Welcome to Notes 10.6. These notes are about segments and circles. So previously we've talked about angles in circles and all of their properties, and now we're going to be talking about segments. And our first one deals with two chords intersecting on the interior of a circle. And I'm going to assume that you can read the theorem. And basically what this one says is, if I've got my two chords and they intersect on the interior of my circle, then it means they divide themselves into two segments, and the product of those two segments are equal to each other. So I'll have EA times EB equals EC times ED. And that is all that one says. So let's practice that one. Here we go. We've got, getting sick of this yet? A little vertigo? A little nausea? I'll get this right yet. All right, so we've got two chords intersecting, which means the product of their segments are equal. And it asks us to find the lengths of the two chords. So we need to keep that in mind as we're solving. So we're going to multiply the two segments together. So I'm going to take x plus 3, and I'm going to multiply it times x plus 1. And that would be equal to x plus 5 times x. All right, so we're going to FOIL these bad boys out. So this gets us x squared plus 4x plus 3. And this one I distribute, so I get x squared plus 5x. And then our x squareds cancel. And I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides, so I get 3 equals x. But we're not done because it actually asks us to find ML. And ML is x plus 1 plus x plus 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6, so this segment is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4, so ML is 10. And then JK is 3 plus 5, so 8, plus just x, so 3, which means that JK is 11. Our next theorem deals with two secants that have the same endpoint. And again, you can read the theorem for yourself, but basically it's saying that when we have two secants, it's the outside times the whole, so EA times EB down here, equals the outside EC times the whole, which is ED. So when I go to work my example down here, I have my outside 6 times my whole, 6 plus 4 is 10, equals my outside 5 times my whole, which is going to be 5 plus x. And then I'm going to solve. So 60 equals 25 plus 5x. Subtract 25 from both sides, and I get 35 equals 5x, which means that x equals 7. Our next theorem deals with a secant and a tangent, and it basically, again, you read, but it basically states that the product of the lengths of the outside segment of the secant times the whole, so EC times ED, is equal to the tangent segment squared. Pretty straightforward. Okay, let's skip down to this problem in the notes and use that theorem that we just talked about. So we've got this fountain problem, and we're standing at point C out here, and we're 45 feet from the fountain. The distance from us to a point of tangency is 105 feet. So that's my tangent segment, so we know that it is my tangent segment squared, so 105 squared, is equal to the outside segment of the secant, so 45 feet, times the whole. And the whole is the thing we're looking for, so it's CA, so we're going to call that x. So now we just have to square 105 and divide by 45, and that gives us 245 feet. The only difficult thing about this problem is recognizing that we are talking about the distance from us to our friend is the whole distance from C to A, and that's really it. Other than that, not so bad. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's go back to this problem right here, these two problems. And I want you guys to work these two problems, recognizing that number 1 is 2 chords and number 2 is 2 secants. So go ahead and use those theorems, and once you have your answer, come back and check it. So hit pause now. So for the first problem, you should have gotten that x equals 10, and for the second problem, you should have gotten that x equals 5. All right, so for these 4 problems at the bottom of the page, I'm going to ask you to answer these in the notes check, and you just need to tell me what x is equal, and we're going to make this one problem 1, this one problem 2, this one problem 3, and this one's problem 4. So make sure you go ahead and do the notes check. And that's all there is for section 10.6, so I will see you in class with any questions that you might have. Thanks!